My first guest is Emma Petroulis from Nudge Accounting. How are you going today, Emma?
I'm really well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. So, Emma, you started your business in August.
That's right.
So you're a newbie.
Definitely.
Is it your first business? Or?
It is my first business. So I've had 10 years experience in accounting, and I also lecture in small business at UTS, so down the road.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about your past in accounting and how you decided to take the leap of the scary startup leap and do your own thing.
Well, I come from a small business family, and I started Nudge Accounting with two others who both come from small business families. So we all grew up in small businesses, knew what it was like to spend your school holidays inside your parents' business. And so it was a real passion of ours to really just focus on those small businesses and spend their time with them. Also lecturing in small business, I'd, met a lot of and taught a lot of students that had gone on to start up their own startups, and some of them have turned over very successful startups. And I was really keen to give it a go, recognized a niche in the industry, which is the niche that we've gone into.
So where do you lecture at?
Where do I lecture at?
Yeah.
The University of Technology.
Wow. And what's that like? I've always wondered what it's like to be a lecturer, and do you find that's kind of helped you in business and how you're going to form your business? Or
well, I've lectured there a few hours a week, and I always did that whilst I was working in accounting as well, and it's something that I've kept up. In terms of helping, it's really, I get to chat for 6 hours a week on a topic that I absolutely love. I get to spend time with students that actually absolutely love small businesses. They get to choose to do the subject, so it's not something that they're forced into doing.
Yeah.
And spend time with them. So, all day, like for those 6 hours, I talk about something I'm passionate about. So I guess it's helped, and it's exciting.
So they're 6 hour lectures? Or
no.
No. I was going to say, I don't think I could sit through a 6 hour lecture.
No, not at all. That's how many hours I lecture a week at the moment.
Nice. And so, Nudge, where does the name come from?
Yeah, it's a very different name. It's not one that you'd expect for accounting, and I guess it's really showing that it's a nudge to small business. We're showing that, hey, things are changing. We're a fresh accounting firm out there. We're doing things really differently. Gone are the days that you need to take a shoebox to your accountant at the end of a year to get your tax return done.
Absolutely.
We offer something completely different where we do all your books, all your accounting, all your tax, everything on a monthly subscription basis.
So tell me about this, because I'm actually quite interested. A lot of people come to me and send me emails and everything like that, wanting various different types of service. And you've got some accountants that just deal with tax returns, and then you've got some people that might just deal with the receipting side of things and all of that, but you kind of offer an end-to-end service. Is it scalable? Like, how does it all work?
It's absolutely end-to-end,
Yeah.
and it's 100% for small businesses and startups.
Yeah.
So we're not interested in any big businesses or medium businesses. That's our focus. That's what we do. That's what we're interested. That's what we're passionate about. In terms of what we do, in terms of absolutely end-to-end solution, and we're the first ones in Australia that are offering that complete end solution as our package.
Yeah.
So small businesses pay. There's no from in our pricing. None of that.
Yeah.
They pay for 50 transactions a month. They pay $199.
Yeah.
And get everything done for them. They know their numbers every single month, which we think is really important. It's empowering small businesses when you have your numbers.
You'd be surprised at how many people do not keep track of their numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially, like, I want to know what my sales figures are and how profitable I am and everything like that. But I suppose that's one of the main reasons that small businesses and startups fail so often.
Absolutely, it is. By giving the small businesses their numbers each month, it really empowers them to make those better business decisions so that they can grow their business. So, for instance, a small business that we had come to us was, every year for the past 15 years had taken his shoebox to his accountant. When he came to us, we were able to identify some cost overruns, which were really impacting his business. He had a very big overdraft. By getting the numbers each month, he's been able to renegotiate some of those costs with his suppliers, and we're really working with him to get him out of that overdraft, which he can now see those numbers because he has them each week. Each month.
I think that's another really important thing, and even in the last couple of months, you've probably come across it quite a bit. Sometimes as startups, we get a little bit enthusiastic, and I know I've done it myself. I'm guilty of it. Everybody, you overcommit to something. You're like, oh, that's a really great service. I really need to have you supply me with that service. And we go, oh yeah, no, I'm making roughly about this much a month, and I can afford that. When really, when you kind of break the numbers down, you're really not making as much as A, you think you are, and B, it's not a cost that you can afford, and it's not a cost you should be investing in right now until you're upping your numbers. What kind of how are those conversations for you as an accountant with a startup? Because a lot of them are gung-ho and don't want to listen.
We have a really good relationship with our clients. By giving them the numbers each month, they can see the numbers in front of them. Numbers don't lie.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
So, they're there in front of them to see. They've also been really excited about the business and what we're offering. They're also excited that we just do startups and small businesses. So, for instance, a lot of our clients have come to us because they've had experiences where accountants have said, put them on a bit of a back burner because they've got a bigger client, one that's going to give them a bit more money.
Yeah.
Whereas though, we love small businesses, that's all we do.
So everything is online, like the people don't actually have to come in, or how does it work, or is it multi-channel?
They have two options. So they can either put their stuff in our portal, so it's just easy as a drag and a drop.
So kind of like Sasu and that type of thing? Or
no, so we've got a few. So how we work, so for instance, the client can either drop their stuff, and by their stuff, I guess I mean all the stuff that you would take in that shoebox. Yeah. But each month, they can either drop that into an online portal that we have, or they can post it to us.
Okay.
Then we record all their transactions every month. So our systems, we use Xero and we use MYB Live accounts, which are online accounting systems, and we can link up with their bank statements and their credit cards, so we get a read-only access of those.
Cool.
And then at the end of the month, we put their profit and loss statement in their bots, as well as any other statements. So things like people that owe you money, every month they get a list of who owes me money, how long they've owed it to me for.
That's really interesting, because I don't think anyone's doing that.
Yeah, so we're
moment.
Aussie first. And we also take care of all their lodgement stuff. So the BAS that they hate doing, we do that.
So you get to see, and that's another thing. A good friend of mine who actually, she owns a school, mm-hmm. and she was talking to me about like some of the fees and that, like when they're due, because usually they're all due around the same time, you get like this massive influx of money.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's really hard to identify who's paying their fees and who's not until you really break it down. So I suppose with a service like yours, you get to see who the regular non-payers are.
Absolutely.
And the type of service and if you want to continue giving them service and that type of thing.
And they can see it each month, and we can say, this person hasn't paid you for 3 months. And, they can make those decisions.
Stop selling to those people. So, that's a huge huge benefit, especially to startups and that type of thing. The profit and loss statement. So, I think there are a lot of startups out there that don't know how to read a profit and loss statement, let alone put one together. Mm-hmm. How do you make it easy for them? How do you make it accessible and easy to understand?
Yeah, well, the first time that we provide it to them, we do speak through what's on their statement. We explain this is the money and we also all of us coming from small business families, and none of us coming from accounting families at all. We know what it's like to talk in the non-accounting language. So one of the biggest compliments
That's good. You don't talk like an accountant.
No,
it's very refreshing.
I always get told that. So we can basically say it in English. and go through, this is the money coming in, this is the money coming out, these are your key expenses, you can see that they're there. Are they expenses that you want to keep going with? For instance, with the example that I provided you before, is those suppliers are, you're spending a lot on that. Can you renegotiate with some of your suppliers there?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that some people, especially small businesses that may have been in business for a while, they're just like, okay, no, I've been paying that for a while. Where I guess a lot of one thing I do have to say is with startups, and a lot of them, we do, especially the younger generation, like, we love to drive a good bargain and that type of thing. But I think that a lot of people that have been in business for years and are loyal to certain suppliers don't question the fact that things may have become cheaper. I mean, you can guarantee that someone like, I don't know, and a place that provides office stationery and stuff like that as a supplier isn't negotiating better pricing with their suppliers that are giving them the stuff that they're then distributing. So likewise, you should be able to do that.
Absolutely. And by just focusing on startups and small businesses, that's all we do. So we know some of the rough prices that businesses of that size should be paying for things, which gives us that extra, I guess, bit of insight.
Cool. So if I'm a startup,
yep,
and I want to use your service, walk me through what would happen.
Okay. What would happen is that on our website, we have
which is
www.nudgeaccounting.com.au.
Yep.
And there's a sign up page.
Yes.
And all you need, a contact us page. All you need to do is fill in your details.
Yep.
Just name, phone number or email address.
Okay.
And we'll get in contact with you, and we'll take one of your biggest pains off your hands. We'll
trust me, biggest pain in my ass is my accounting stuff. It really is. And the thing is, I mean, I've got a really, really good accountant, thank God. That really helps guide me and stuff like that. But just, I love the fact that I get someone saying, this is your it's like having a little bit of a CFO, isn't
That's
it,
right.
as a startup?
Yeah, and it's something that small businesses and startups, they can't afford to have their own CFO.
No.
But with our $199 package of getting all your books, all your accounting, and that, we're getting great feedback, and we're getting lots of referrals.
I know, it's like having your own little mini CFO at a much cheaper cost.
Yeah.
Great. So are you guys on Facebook and that type of thing?
We're on Twitter and we're on LinkedIn.
Awesome. And what are those tags there?
So at Nudge Accounting and is our Twitter.
Yeah.
And our LinkedIn, we've got LinkedIn profiles for the three of us. So myself, Aaron and Mark.
Yep.
And we've got our Nudge Accounting LinkedIn page as well.
Cool. Now, my big question to you is there a particular industry that has come on board and been kind of like your flagship industry as a startup? Because that tends to happen. Like, some people might tend to get a lot of real estate clients or a lot of clients in the manufacturing industry or something like that. Is yours very eclectic, or is it in one sort of space?
You know what? It's a broad range of small businesses.
Yeah.
Starting off, we thought, being in the online space, the majority of our, a lot of our client base would be very tech, very online. But it's really surprised us. We've had those techs and we've had those onlines, but we've also had, a whole range of really the small business space.
Yeah. And have you guys bootstrapped this?
Yeah, so it's self-funded. We've been researching it, and
good for you. A lot of people, especially because I mean, essentially you are a tech company if you're doing a lot of these things online. Yeah, you may have the people power and everything behind it driving it, which most tech companies do, but a lot of your work is done online. Like, I'm assuming that if I didn't want to, I don't really have to talk to you over the phone at all. I can just have an online relationship with
and we
company.
talk to a lot of our small businesses over Skype and on the phone as well. So we're readily accessible. But I guess we self-funded it because we believed in it.
Yeah.
That's us.
And what advice... Is there advice that you give to startups come to you looking at ways of how they're going to fund their business and that kind of thing? Like, do you talk around that type of stuff to people or not?
We can have all those discussions. So we're all CAs. We've all had at least 10 years experience in accounting, and we're
Yeah.
all relatively young as well.
Yeah.
The
I was going to say you are. I'm going to do the forbidden thing and ask you on air
Oh dear.
how old you actually are, because when you said 10 years, I was kind of like, whoa, she's much older than I thought that she would be, because my guess was I thought you were about 24 years old
Oh, really?
when you walked
No.
in. So
I'm a
huge
few,
compliment from me.
I'm a few years older than that, but I often get
So you've obviously been accounting, from a very young age. Were you one of
Yeah.
those crazy smart kids that kind of got an accounting degree at 14 or something? Or?
No, I worked full time and I did my degree at night time.
Oh,
so
wow, cool.
I worked 5 days, 5 days a week in an accounting firm, and then
Nice.
went to uni at night.
Great, awesome. I did that as well. I worked while I went to uni. Then I didn't finish uni. Oh well.
But thanks for the compliment about
That's
24.
okay. I'm
I'm almost 30, so.
So am I. I look like I'm almost 45 though, so that's a completely different story. So the website is www.nudgeaccounting.com.au. Go there and visit them. It sounds like they're offering a really, really great service, especially to startups. I think your huge selling points are your profit and loss statements. Big fat tick with that, and also the fact that you guys, give that personal advice and everything like that.
And know
to
your
startups.
numbers.
And knowing your numbers, yes. If there's anything that you can take from this, it's knowing your numbers. Emma, thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure that we'll be speaking to you again over the coming months. You're listening to eaglewavesradio.com.au. We'll be back right after this short break.